Shut up and sit down.
Greetings, fellow travelers. Obelix here, coming at you today from FTB Revelation. How y'all doing today? So I took last week off. I'm sorry, guys. Just wanted to get ready for Christmas, spend some time with the family, getting things going. So hopefully you guys don't mind too terribly much, but we are back. And last time we fixed up all the Tinkerer's things, the tank, the furnace, and the smelter. You see we got our Christmas Santa hat on, because it is the day after Christmas, December 26th. My UK friends would call it Boxing Day. So, I hope you guys had a great time with your family, got lots of cool things, gave lots of cool things, because that is more important than the getting. And I want to wish you and yours a very happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you choose to celebrate. Now, I have been working a little bit off camera, popping on every now and then when I get some time to play. And I have updated our bees. We've added 2 more hives. And I've got these guys currently working tropical bees. Now, I have gone out and toured the world a little bit off camera. And you can't see it down here. There we go. So I went off this way and just did quite a bit of searching just to see what's what, right? So, yeah, basically looking for bees, doing a little village raiding, that kind of thing. You can see how I have upgraded from our satchel to a diamond backpack. We had the diamonds, so might as well. So I could carry a few extra bits and bobs. We found some wands and chests along the way. That's really about it there. Now, I've got these guys running tropical bees. Now, we're probably going to get stung because these guys are nasty. You can see little particle effects popping out of the top of the hives here. It's because these bees will poison you when they bite. So you can see we got tropical queen and we just got automation, so it's just cycling them through. And the reason we're doing that, guys, is we want to produce these silky combs. And you can see I've been doing some other breeding off camera. So we've got our nobles and marshies. These are just from the marsh down the road. We've been working on our tropicals. We got some cultivated, some commons, some imperials, and some majestics. So like I said, we've been looking to get these silky combs, and the reason we want these guys is because it's going to help us not to get stung in the future. So we're going to come over here, and yeah, it's a pain in the butt to get down to half a heart every time you go work on the bees because they bite you and the poison takes you all the way down. So we take these silky combs, we drop them in here like so, and this guy processes those silky combs, spins them out through the centrifuge, and you get all this goodness right here. So you get these silky propolis. I don't know the word. That's a foreign word to me. I don't know what that is. We get this propolis, silky propolis honeydew, and when you take these silky propolis and you run them back through this guy, you will get the silk wisp. Now, I think the honeydew actually comes from the marshy combs, the combs we get from the swamp bees. I had those running through for a while, and there were a few extras still in the system to be processed, so I think that's where those come from. But the silky propolis is what we're looking for, because you spin that through the centrifuge yet again. So you process the silky comb, you get the silky propolis and some honey. You process the silky propolis again, and you get these silk wisps. Now, if I do a U on top of that, and you can see what it's used for, we can make sieves or sieves, depending on how you choose to pronunciate. But what I'm looking to make is this guy right here, this woven silk, because if I do a U on woven silk, you can see we can make apiarist armor. This will prevent us from getting stung every time we go out there and work on the bees. So it takes 9 per piece of armor, and the normal amount of 24 armor, or 24. It would normally be ingots to make armor. So that is a thing. Now I want to go over there and show you some bee breeding and the way it works. Let's actually run over here to our bed and take a nap because we need it to be daytime, because bees do not work in the nighttime unless you have the Gindustry hive like we have outside here. Now this biome that we're in a taiga hills, and it's a cold biome, so bees won't normally work out here. So I'm going to show you how we got to, those fancy drones that we have down in here, the ones you normally wouldn't find just laying about. These nobles and the cultivated and the commons here, and how we made those, the imperials. I want to show you how we got to those guys. Now, I'm going to grab this bee house, which I just got from a village. No biggie there. And I'm going to grab let's grab an ignoble forest princess from the ignoble stock. Now remember, ignoble, the difference between the pristine, like see this one says pristine, there's a pristine, and there's an ignoble. The ignobles will eventually die without yielding a new princess. So that strain will eventually just die off. So we're going to use these up for our breeding purposes, because we just don't care about them. We don't want them to live forever. But the ones that are our permanent ones, we definitely want to be princesses. So what I'm using is one forest and one princess. Now it doesn't matter if it's a forest queen and a meadows drone, or a meadows queen and a forest drone. It can be either way around. And we want to go to a biome that's warm, like a plains. And we just so happen to, in a minute, stuck in a tree. We just so happen to have a plains just down the road, a little piece over here, where we've been doing our mob fighting early in the season when we needed some material. We'd zip over here into a plains where it's nice and open. We could fight because creepers be creeping in these bushes, tall bushes, and around the corner of them trees. And a nice field is a good place to do that without, being able to see everything around you is important. So here we go. We've hit the plains. Yep, they're just updated to plains up there in the top right. And you see I've already got one out here, and it is working. So what we did is we just popped this hive down like so. I'm just going to pop it right there. And they can actually be side by side. It doesn't matter. Now this hive doesn't require any power. It doesn't require, anything special other than what the bees themselves want. And that's going to be dependent on the bees. So like, see that wintry hive right there? I couldn't put those bees in here because it's too warm. This is plains biome. But I could put them back over there in the taiga. So you just move the bee house around to where you need it. Now, if I were to put the forest princess in with forest drones, I would get forest drones and forest princesses back out. And we did that, remember, early on in our beekeeping, so we could build up a stock of drones, right? And we did it for the forest and we did it for the meadows. So we got a whole bunch of drones to work with, which is excellent. Now we want to start making different bees from different categories. So I'm going to put this forest princess in. You see nothing happens. She's still a princess until we add a drone. So I'm going to add the meadows drone. You'll see they mate and they make a queen. So there's our queen. And you don't have to put drones in there. It's fine without the drones. The drones are just for breeding. And as long as there's whatever the bee wants for food, and every bee has its own little desires, forest and meadows both want flowers. So we've got a flower here. And eventually you'll see new flowers. That flower wasn't there earlier. When I placed this hive down, that flower showed up. And you will see eventually other flowers start to populate in this area. There's another one there that wasn't there before. Oh, there's another hive. Interesting. So let's actually go harvest that. Why wouldn't you? So I always carry my smoker and my scoop with me. I did go ahead and build this upgraded scoop from Gindustry because the ones from Forestry will break on you over time. The one from Gindustry just uses power, and as long as you got power, it's good to go. So it's definitely worth the upgrade. It's just a bunch of bronze, basically. So I'm going to smoke this guy out, and the smoking keeps him from biting you or stinging you while you're scooping them. So when you go to smoke them, watch the smoker and you'll see it bobble. When it bobbles, oopsies, they just bit me, little suckers. When you see it bobble, that's when you know the hive is ready to be harvested. So I'm going to start smoking now. Wait for it to bobble. There, you just saw it go bobble and you heard it go squish. When you get that, you're ready to harvest. If you wait too long, though, the hive will reset and be back ready to go. Now, I do recommend when you go on a bee hunt, grab the apiarist backpack from forestry. And looks like this guy right here. And it's relatively inexpensive. Just some string, some wool. You do have to make this apiarist chest, which you do need some honeycombs for. A chest and some glass. Super easy, but you can carry a bunch of bees in this backpack, so your inventory is not full. Because remember, a lot of these guys don't stack. So, I do have one of those back at the house that I did use when I went on my little bee tour. I actually brought a apiarist backpack and a which one? Foresting backpack. Because the foresting backpack lets you hold saplings. So as I'm going through the world, saplings and logs. So as I'm going through the world finding new trees, which I did find some, they collected in my backpack, and again, I didn't fill up my inventory with a bunch of garbage. So we just let these guys run. You see she has produced a comb. You see her life right here. This is her lifespan. It will slowly decay. When it hits the bottom, she will die. Now she's ignoble, so she might produce a princess. She might not produce a princess. We'll have to see. She should produce a drone, hopefully. And same over here. You can see there's your queen. There's her lifespan. She hasn't produced anything yet. If you're missing something the bee wants, it will show up right here. So if we didn't have these flowers, for example, take these guys out, and they, oops, see another one popped up. Flowers everywhere. They pop up relatively quickly. This whole place will be a flower forest soon. Not literally, but did we get them all? I think we got them all. Yeah, you can see no flowers. It will tell you what it wants. At nighttime, it'll say no light. You know, it's too dark. You need more light. So we'll just pop those guys back. Bees will start breeding again. You see that went away. So that's how to get going in the basic levels, just using forestry stuffs. Now, Gendustry does make that easier because we can produce bees. You know, even in this cold taiga biome, I can produce those meadow bees by just putting the appropriate upgrade into our Gendustry apiary, which makes it super nice. You know, when you need wintry bees, but you live in a desert, or you know, right now I'm producing jungle bees, but I don't live in a jungle. You need a hot, wet environment for jungle bees. This is obviously a cold and dry environment, so you're not going to be able to produce those normally. Now, one thing I have noticed, guys, and I haven't seen this in other packs, this seems to be, I don't know if it's just this server or if it's this pack in general, but or if it's a bug in the current version, I just don't know. But if you see how there's no particle effects on the top of these hives are not working right now. I can stand here all day, I'm never going to get stung, and nothing else is going to be produced over there. The hives are shut down because I left the area. I left the area and came back. The hives are not functional right now. You will never see this go up beyond 10%. So if you leave the area and you don't see the particles, especially on tropical bees, ooh, I did get stung. Maybe they are working. That's never actually happened before. See, that last hive started working again. That's why we got stung. But if you come out and you just pull the queen out and pop it back in, the hive will start working again. Like almost instantly. So it's like a little bobble, little glitch in the matrix there. I think it's just a little bug. But either way, take care of that and you're good to go. And you see I'm going to sit here and just be poisoned. You see why we're doing the silky combs. Getting these guys and making the silk so we don't have to deal with that. Okay. So that's bees for now. We're going to let those sit there and do their thing. Now, I did... Stuck on a black. While we were out, I did find these other gardens from Pam's Harvest Craft. You know the garden we have in this area, which is kind of a green, ugly thing. Where is it? I should probably go grab one since I don't have one in the area. There's some right there. This is the one that grows in this biome. And they are biome specific, and they have different things inside of them. And remember, these are the ones you can just smack and you get the different Pam's veggies, and you'll get different veggies out of each one. And they do spread. So if I just leave one here, come back in a while, there's going to be a stack of them right here, a whole bunch of them, just like there was now. So one thing you can do when you're out in the world and you come across a new one that's not in the biome you live in. Obviously, the biome you live in, you're not going to have any problem getting the materials out of there. You can harvest these guys. If you take an empty hand and you shift right click on it, or I'm sorry, shift left click on it, you see you harvest the garden rather than the stuff in the garden. See how if I harvest the garden, if I smash the garden themselves and break it and get all the goodies out, that'll fill your inventory up super quick. But if I harvest the garden as a whole, it will not. So these came out of a different biome, and you can just bring them to your house and plant them. These also came out of a different biome. So again, I can break the garden itself. And sorry for the rain, ramping up outside. Out of my control, unfortunately. But these will give you different stuff. You see these showed up down here because we didn't already have them up here. They give you different material, so it's definitely good to go get ones from all the different areas. Now sometimes you will get duplicates, but a lot of times you won't, because they do have different things inside them. So that's a good way to get going with Pam's. A lot of people don't know you can shift punch those things and actually harvest the entire DDO. So one more thing you will see on my inventory that you haven't seen before is this guy, this Dank Null Mark IV. So Dank Null is in this pack, and it is a fantastic mod that you almost never see people use. It's very rare you find people use them, but it's super powerful, especially early game. And I should have been using this a lot earlier, and I didn't even realize it was in the pack. I happened to be looking the other day, and I saw it, and I was like, oh man, I should have been using that. They are a little bit pricey, so you're not going to probably make them day one, but you do want to make one as soon as you can. And they do have tiers, so this is tier 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, and each tier gets progressively more expensive. That's creative. Can't build that one. I don't think you can build that one. Yeah, no. You see the top tier is green, so that's going to be made out of emeralds. If we click on these panels, you will see that it's blocks of emeralds, blocks of coal. So this is, pretty expensive. One tier down is diamonds. Tier down from that is gold, and this is the one we have right now. I'm not willing to give up my diamonds or my emeralds yet to get the bigger tiers. But the bottom tier is just redstone. So you're still going to need blocks of coal. That's a lot of coal that you're going to be giving up. Which, if you're doing immersive engineering, you need all that coal for that. So, plus if you're smelting and doing other things, it's a little bit challenging. But let's go ahead and make the basic one, even though we don't necessarily need it. We already have the higher end one. We're going to make it anyway. So we're going to make 5 panels. We're going to just drop them in our system. And we're going to make this guy right here. Now, you will see it's just a block. You cannot place it on the ground, even though it looks like a block you should be able to place on the ground. But if I shift right click it in the air, you get a new interface. Now this section here is our inventory, even though it doesn't look like it because it's all redded out. It is our inventory. This section up here is inside the Dank Null. Okay? Now each one of these can be a block of items that the Dank Null will take care of. So let's run down here, and I will show you what's what. Let me bring a chest. Don't really probably need this, but let's do it anyway, just for safety's sake. And plus we get to look at our pretty Christmas chest. Wow, they're still Christmas chests. I do think they stay that way till after the New Year, so I could be wrong, but I think I remember that being a thing. Let's just run up here, and I've been wanting to tear out some of this anyhoozle. See our little mob farmer rating down there. I'm going to take this super high-end one, I'm going to drop it right there. I'm also going to dump these bees out just to get them out of my inventory. Now I'm going to check this guy. Now I've got Silk Touch turned on and I've got Speed turned on. I did go ahead and build the Silk Touch upgrade for it because that does help with this. I'm also going to add the width upgrades. So we're going to open our drill back up. We're going to put in our 3 and our 5. So we'll mine in a 5x5. So if I go over 1, 2, 3 and start smashing, we should get lots of goodies popping out. Yeah. Fantastic. So if I come down here, you will see that our inventory is going to be filling up with mess. I mean, look at all this. And you know how, when you go mining, how fast your inventory gets full of all of the garbo. I mean, look at that. We're already halfway full. We've just barely done a little strip. This is where the dank null comes in. So again, shift, right click. Now what I can do is put a different block into each one of these slots here. So I'll put stone here. I'll put dirt here. I'll put granite here. I'll put andesite here. Cobble we really won't have any of. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now you see you'll see a stone spinning around on the top of this block, on the top of the dank null there. And I'm going to toss out this other stone and andesite and granite. Then I'm going to pick it up again. And you'll see that my dank null bobbled. And you notice none of it's in my inventory. But if I shift right click, you can see that more of it has gone into the dank null. See that? So it's like kind of like a storage, but it's more than that and does things a little bit differently in a way you kind of need to be conscientious of and careful of, because if you're not paying attention, you can kind of hose yourself pretty seriously. So let's pick up this mess. Excellent. And look at our inventory. So we probably want to add marble and limestone and gravel to our list. We want to keep our ores out. I thought we added diorite. Oh, I guess we didn't add diorite, did we? So there's our ore. So now let's shift right click on there. Yep, we didn't add diorite, so we'll add diorite, gravel, limestone, and marble. Fantastic. Now you will see that we still only have 128 stone. But we could swear that we mined more. So we know we had 128 stone. Let's go dig a little bit deeper. Not much stone there, but here we're starting to hit some stone. We know there's stone there. We'll just go that way and clean that out a little bit. Now we see that we're picking up stone, right? Lots and lots of stone in there. Now if I come over to the dank null, shift right click, you can see it's still at 128. Well, how's that a thing? I don't have it here in my inventory. Quiet phone, nobody's talking to you. I always forget to mute that thing. So it's sitting at 128 and it's not going up. Well, what's happening is the null is nullifying or deleting everything above 128. So it's only keeping 128 blocks, and that is it. You think, well, but Obelix, I want more than that. That's not enough. You know, I want to be, well, that's what the higher tier nulls are for. They hold more of each item at each higher tier. Now, one other thing the nulls can do is place blocks back, just like that. So in the event you need them, like you're mining and you fall in a hole, oh, I fell in a hole, or you like to fill in behind yourself, you can. Look at that. You're just using the blocks that were selected in the dank null. Say I want to place dirt, I can grab dirt out if I want, or put it back in. Or I can select the dirt with, and if you read over there, read the little description down there, it says control click to change the extraction mode, O click to toggle ore dictionary mode, or alt click sets selected items. So if I Alt and click, now I've selected dirt. You see it's highlighted yellow now. So if I come in, I can place dirt now instead of stone. Isn't that cool? So if I shift click on the null again, I want to switch over to diorite. It's an Alt click. We'll switch it to your diorite. Boom, boom, boom. And you tell which block you have selected by what's spinning in the top of the dank null, which is super awesome. Now let's get those out of there so I can clear these up without making a horrid mess. Now, another thing this guy can do is suck items out. So you can bring this home and deposit these items into your storage system if you so choose. Now what's super cool is each item can be selected differently. So if I mouse over the stone, you see extraction mode is set to do not extract. But if I control click, and it's a control left click, it's going to switch to extract all but one, which means this guy will still have one stone in it and be ready to go for the next time around, but it'll take all the other stone out. I hold control and click again. It goes to extract all but 16. That way you go back out and you always have 16 blocks in your inventory ready to go in the event you need them. I want to control click again. Now it's extract all but one stack, all but 64, which is generally where I like to be. And go click it again and you're on extract all. I don't like extract all because it removes everything and you basically have an empty null and you have to rebuild your null every time. So generally speaking, I like to do extract all but 64. But notice that didn't change the dirt. So you can do every one independently based on how you like to work. Hey, I love to build in dirt. I like to, pillar out of things in stone. I like to scaffold in dirt. Those two I want to keep 64 of each, but everything else I want to extract all the way. You can do that. Or extract all but one. You can do that. Super, super cool and handy. I just really never see anybody use these guys. Super rare to see people using these guys. Now again, this is the little one. I've built the gold one, which isn't the biggest one, but it is a pretty good size one. You will see when I shift and click on it, it has, first off, it's all yellow on the inside instead of red. I do like the red one better, I'm going to tell you. But you can see it has more lines, so it can hold more individual blocks. Plus, you notice I've got 2,000 stone. So it can hold a lot more of each one of those items. And I could put ore in here if I wanted to. That's a thing. You can do that if you wanted to store your ore as well. And you could say keep 64 of these, but take all the ore and dump them into your system. And then you basically keep your inventory nice and clean. Really, dude? I'm trying to talk to my peeps here. Why are you being all like that? With your little Santa hat on. Yeah, Santa hat's cute, don't get me wrong. But your attitude's wrong, so be dead. Anyway. So that is the dank null, and I have been using the snot out of that, along with one other thing to do some mining. Let's go take a look at that. Alright guys, we're down here in the mining dimension in my new mine down here. You guys know I have that big old mine at the bottom of the house there, but I went ahead and made one here in the mining dimension. I will tell you the ore yield here is not as good as I thought it should be, or as I think it should be. Seems like I get just as much, if not more, mining in the regular world, so that is a thing. Now I'm going to get one more thing that I like to bring with me when I'm mining down here, and that is this. A Lantern of Paranoia from Reliquary. These are relatively inexpensive. And this is the same mod that we made our charm belt that keeps the baddies away from us. It's a couple iron ingots, a slime pearl, a blaze core, or a molten core, so you can get that from magma cubes and blaze. Some glass and a little more iron. Now this guy, as long as you got torches in your inventory and you turn them on, by shift right click, and you'll see him start to sparkle, he is going to start placing torches everywhere that's dark that needs a torch. So I'd like to do that, turn on my drill, put in the big drilly bits, make sure I got my dank null in my inventory ready to rock. I did toss the other one down right there. And I just start hammering away. And you see the lantern is keeping it well lit for us. I don't have to think about torches or light or anything out here. The mobs do spawn in this mining dimension, so that is a concern, something to be worried about. Now, our charm belt protects us from most things. I haven't gotten witches and spiders on here yet, so those are still a concern. Slime is also a concern. As you see, I'm just driving through here. Super fast and easy. Put on some music, just jam while this is going, and just let this guy do his business. Like so. Then I get far enough down here, and then I just turn around and come back the other side. Now, I should get a magnets. One thing I would like that I don't have yet, and I am picking up those torches that you saw me knocking off the wall, so those can be reutilized. And you see this thing is just lighting up like crazy. It uses a ton of torches, I will say. It's not the most, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Efficient use of lighting? So I go down a little ways. There's a cave around here somewhere. Knock a 5 turn, and then I just zip back the other way. Just like so. Ooh, found some bees. Now, occasionally you will get this, where it's trying to place a torch right where you want to be. So you just come to the side, dig the hole, keep on trucking. And you will see... Normally my inventory would be very full by now. But you will see, short of the ores, it's pretty darn good. And again, I could put the ores in here. You know, if I wanted to, I could say, hey, you know what? Resonating ore, and this ore, and the quartz. You know, let's just put all the ores in there. Let's put cobble in there. The problem you got to be careful of is, depending on your dank null, remember there's a cap to how many items it can hold. So if you put these ores in here and you go over the cap, it's going to start voiding them. So you want to be careful of that. Now this is 2,000. This guy's holds 2,048 of each block. So I'm not too terribly worried about it with this guy. You know, it's not often you mine 2,000 gold blocks in one mining trip. You know, I'm going to run out of power on my drill before I get that far. You know, normally I just leave the ore in my inventory. That way I don't even have to worry about it. I'm going to take it back home and process it anyway. So, you know, might as well. Oh, we got a little slime chunk down there. Yeah, there you go. So we can suck all this up. Delish. Turn around and grab the side. Now, if I had a magnet, this wouldn't, it would all be sucked up initially. I'm going to save me an extra turnaround, which is even better. So look at that. Nice, clean inventory, a couple new things. And it's kind of a nice way so you can see what's new that you haven't already gotten before. When you're done, we just turn off our lantern. You see we didn't use that many. We used about half a stack of torches. Turn off our lantern. I toss that back into our little storage here. I keep my torches in there as well. Should put all these down here where it's easy to grab them at one fell shot. And you know what? Makes sense. Let's put that lantern there too. Fantastic. And that other dank null despawned, but who cares? It didn't have much in it anyway. So that is a super handy mining tool. And again, you know, if you have a hole dug out you didn't, intend to, like, oh crud, there's a hole here, I'm gonna fall in and die, there's a lava pit like right there. You can place the blocks in to fill it in. It's just fine. That's what the null does. It collects and lets you place. Boom, done. See? How nice is that? Man, this thing is so cool. I do like it a lot. Alright guys, I did decide to go ahead and finish out my drill's battery. So I did another line and about half before I ran out of go-go juice on the battery there. But I wanted to show you, while I got you here, let me just put these guys back away, because I'm going to need to get something out of here anyway. There we go. I wanted to show you that the drill, when you're coming through here, is super cool because it doesn't jack with the beehives. It just leaves them. It gathers all the resources around them, but doesn't jack with the hive, so you don't get bit. Unless the bees are just naturally biters. These are not. These generally won't bother you. Though the cave bees will. So we're going to smoke them out, wait till it bobbles. There it bobbled. We're going to scoop them, and there we go. Got the goodies. So we got some attuned drones. Fantastic. Come over here and we'll go grab this one too. Excellente. So since I'm out of power and drills don't work well without any power, we are going to head back to the overworld and wrap up this episode. Alright, now I'm going to run you through my ore processing regimen. In this pack anyway. It changes from pack to pack depending on what's in the pack. So we're going to open up our dank null and we're going to pull all these ores out so I can see what is what. Man, it is getting windy out there. Ooh, my goodness. Alright, we don't need that one. We can leave that one in there. So I put all my lapis and redstone through this Actually Additions crusher because it makes, for one lapis ore, it gives you 12 lapis, and for one redstone ore, it gives you 10 redstone. So, do I have any lapis and or redstone? I have some lapis lazuli. I think that's it. I don't think did I not get any redstone? See, that's what I'm saying. The mining dimension, not that great, guys. Just not that great. I mean, you said that was a lot of mining, and yeah, I get more. I swear I get more here in the overworld. So, yeah. So now, coal is best crushed in this guy. In the immersive engineering crusher. So, do I have any coal? I do. So we just toss that in, We'll see it process. And I think it makes, yeah, something like 6 to 8 per or something like that. And then I come up here. And then this guy gets any black quartz I have or any quartz. So I've got quartz there. Put it into our thermal expansion pulverizer. And oh, why didn't you take? Oh, I didn't set the. Yeah, there we go. I didn't set the sulfur to extract. So it was stuck in there. Also, Certus quartz is good in here as well, which I do not have any of. I do not let it go into the smelter. I just let it go to there. And then here in the sag mill is where I do all the ores. So I do iron, iridium, yellorium, aluminum, lead, gold. Uranium can go in there, tin, silver, nickel, all that. And we do let it pass through the alloy smelter as well and make up all the ingots. So fantastic. Could also use the smelter out there, but this is just easier. And cinnabar also gets processed through here, just through the alloy smelter. So just pop that in here like that, and it will suck in eventually. Now it does end up taking, the sagma will sometimes make cobblestone, and that gets, you know, brought over here and then cooked, and it's a thing. Or no, it makes stone, I think. I forget what it makes. It makes something. Yeah, it makes cobblestone. The cobblestone goes in here, it gets cooked to smooth stone, so you will end up with some smooth stone. That cinnabar makes that quicksilver, Thaumcraft quicksilver. So, and I haven't bothered to look up the peridot ore. Let's check. This is how I check this out. So, with peridot, I'm just going to click on uses, or I'm going to click U to see what uses are, and you can see which machine can process it. Now, unfortunately, this is a poor choice because only one machine can process it. And it looks like the sag mill is the way to go on that one. So we'll just toss that in here. It may try to put it in here. I don't know what's going to happen when it does that. We'll see. But let's say, lapis. That's a good one because a lot of things can process lapis. If I do uses, well, dang it, I put a U in the wrong place. Lapis. Now, if I look at uses for lapis and click on U, I can run through all these different machines that can process it and see how good they do. So in a crafting table with some pyrotheum dust, you can get 2 lapis dust or 2 lapis pieces of lapis. Meh. Smelting, I can get 1. Crusher, I can get 12. Well, that's our highest one, which is what we did. Smelting, on this furnace, I can get 4. Smelting with this, I can get 6. This furnace with this upgrade. Pulverizer, I can get 10. So this is equally as good with the addition of making sulfur, but I'm using my pulverizer for other things, so might as well use the crusher. You can get 15 here, but you need this upgrade and tectonic pyrotheum, which we're not ready for yet. I can do it in an induction smelter, but I also need some sand, and I only get 8. I can do it in an induction smelter, but I need sand with this upgrade, which is, giving me slightly more. I also need some blazing pyrotheum. We're up to 12 instead of 8. But that's a lot of work when I got one machine. I just put it in one machine and get 12 out of it. Boom, done. I can process it with this. I've not actually used this before, so I'm not even going to talk about that. You can get it with, using a gadgetry grinder, but we don't have one in place yet, so why bother? I could do it with a crusher and get 9, but you see how I kind of go through and decide which machine I'm going to use to make this work, to get the most yield out of it. It's partly based on what I have available to me at the time, and partly on which one gives me the highest yield. But you can see, there you go. Cruising along, making all the goodness. We're going to drop our bees over here that we collected. Put those guys away, and let's run out here and check on these bees. Now, I don't normally like chunk loading, and I don't normally condone chunk loading. I did chunk load that area for this video so that we could run off and do some other things while these were hopefully processing and doing their thing. So hopefully we will come back and the queens will be dead, new princes will be in place. That's our best bet. Remember, they're ignoble stock, so they could have died without producing offspring. We shall see. I see one little bee flying. So this bee has not died yet. Okay. The queen hasn't died and reproduced. Otherwise, we'd see more over here. How about this one? Oh, yeah. So, we put in a forest queen and a meadows drone. And here we put in a meadows drone and a forest drone and a meadows princess. We got back a meadows princess. We didn't get back a common. I was hoping to get back a common. Now the way to tell, if I just do uses on this bee right here, if I do the U on this bee, you can see if I go to the bee breeding tab, these are all the things this bee can be used to make, and you see it makes the common bees, which is what we're looking for, but there's only a 15% chance, so you're going to have to cycle these bees through many times to make this happen. Then you can use the common to make your cultivated. You might get a leporine, I don't know how to say that, queen, but there's only a 10% chance you might get a tipsy queen with this drone and a wintry princess. So you just match up what it shows here. This plus this equals this, super easy. What's not easy is constantly coming over here to cycle them through like so. And we wait. It's now a queen again, and it's going to start producing all over again. And this guy is almost dead, but not quite. And looks like we got a couple more flowers have showed up. Yep, one there. And I don't think we placed that one. I think that one's new. Those are all old. Yep, that is the bee breeding. Let me show you one more thing before we go. Back over here at the house regarding bees. And how do you tell what it is they want to eat? We talked about, you know, that you have to give them the right environment and you have to give them the right crop that they're looking for. Well, how do you know what the right crop is? You just a random guess? No, they have it. There's a way to tell. And I bet we don't see the particles. We don't. Pop it out, pop it in, particles. Pop it out, pop it in, particles. Pop it out, pop it in, particles. Hey, how about that? Look at that, silky combs, delish. So I'm going to use this portable analyzer right here, and I'm going to grab, say, this noble queen. Now this is, because I have no idea what nobles eat. We're going to find out right now and go away from those guys so they don't sting me. We're going to use our portable analyzer. I'm going to open it up. We got to have honey in it. So this is what you're using all those honey drops from that you've been getting. We're going to put our noble queen on the question mark. It's going to analyze her and bring her down to the number 1. And I think we kind of went through this a little bit in a previous episode, but not enough in depth. Here's what you're looking for. Flower type. This is what she wants to eat. This is what she's looking for. So you want to make sure she has flowers planted around, at least one planted around the hive, so that her little dronies will go out and do little drony things. So what about an imperial? What do they want? And notice we're using a drone here. We were using a queen before. It's perfectly fine. It's the same thing. They also want flowers. So this one's actually, you know, this imperial drone is actually made from an imperial and a noble. So that's its stock. You know, its parents, if it were. So we are looking for. So diurnal means it's daytime. Nocturnal means it's nighttime. You know, it likes to work at night or likes to work in the day. So both these, you know, it's a daytime bee. Here's its humidity and climate. So it tells you if you need to put upgrades into the system, like a humidifier upgrade or a heat upgrade or a cooling upgrade, or like we did here, a jungle upgrade, which takes care of heat and cooling, or actually it's heat and moisture. Notice one thing though, I didn't pull the bee out. It's still in there, so don't look for it in your inventory. It won't be in there. It's still in the machine. Does it need to be in a cave? Is it a tolerant flyer? You know, it tells you pretty much everything you need to know. What can it produce? What can produce a dripping comb or royal jelly? Which we do need some, so I'm looking forward to that. Glad we got this bee. If it's seen mutations before, it will tell you what the mutation possibilities are, and then gives you a little bit of blah blah about the bee. So let's look at one we have made mutations of. So the common definitely has had mutations. So if we look at this guy, he wants flowers. We see he's a daytime bee. He produces the honeycomb. And so with a forest drone can make a cultivated drone. With a cultivated drone can make a noble drone. With a cultivated drone could also make a diligent drone. So those are all the possibilities we found thus far with this, using this bee, common bee with one of these others to make something else. So that is bee breeding in a nutshell. It's about combining the right combinations of bees to get something else that does something different. And bees are super powerful, guys. You just don't even know. We haven't even scratched the surface of what bees can do. But we will. We'll get there. So combining this forest drone with a meadows drone will give you a common. The forest drone with a common drone will get you a cultivated drone. So we've seen those before, but you have to have gotten it once before you can see what else it can become. You know, it's like you don't know until you've seen it. So if we look at this marshy drone, you see, something different. Flower type mushroom, not flowers. This is why we have mushrooms around, because we were using our marshy drones, and they wanted, I put them in, and it said, hey, you ain't got the right stuff. So I had to go find out what it wanted by using this little tool right here. It wants mushrooms to eat. It is a daytime bee, and notice it wants damp, and it wants a climate of normal or up 1. Up 1 or down 1. It can handle either up or down 1 or normal. So pretty cool. It's very helpful for making sure you get the right environment for your bees so that they're happy and producing well for you. Now, do we have any? I think we have some other bees up here. Infernals. Let's take a look at these guys. These should be fun. I think we got these from the nether. If we pop that in, flower type nether, so it wants, probably netherrack, I'm guessing. That's just a guess. I've never actually grown these. They are aggressive, meaning they're gonna get you, so you need to be conscientious of that. We want to have our bee suit. It needs hot, with 2 down from hot. It needs to be arid, in other words, very dry. They fly in both daytime and nighttime. And they like caves. And it produces the molten comb. We haven't bred those at all yet, so we really don't know much about them. And again, just a little bit of blah blah about the bee. It's a pretty cool tool for helping you get going with your bee breeding. But I do think that is all the time I got for this episode. I sure do appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me as we looked into bees and dank gnolls. Until next time, guys, y'all get out there and make some noise. See ya.